5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right. What's happening, people? How are we? Friday, here we are. It is a gorgeous day. It's excellently hot here in New York. So if you feel like taking your head out and going into a high moisture sauna system, you can do it. Come to the beach here at Highlands. We've got rain, it looks like out there. The NEIL forecast says it's going to rain in the next 4 hours here. Happy Friday, people. I'm so glad to be here. This week's been crazy. I've gotten so much shit done, and I feel good about that. I've got a bunch of new guests coming on. We've got a great guest this afternoon. One of our friends has come back today, and hopefully he'll be around once in a while. Our friend Irish will be joining us. The Detroit Madman will be here. And we'll be talking. Brenda B will be here with us, and she and I will be talking about all the fun stuff going on in the world, the pros and cons of dancing, so to speak. If there's something to comment on it, we'll comment on it. And hopefully, if I get too far to the right or to the madness of toxic masculinity, she can kind of hopefully pull me back in. But it's a hard job, so we don't know. So what's going on? I hope everybody out there has got a good plan for this weekend. If you're in the New York area, my suggestion is do what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the grocery store at some point today. I'm going to load up all kinds of goodies, stuff to eat, a couple of steaks, some food, some water, and I'm going to lock the doors. I'm going to turn off, my internet somewhat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid being a constant news jackal all day long, much to my girls' dismay. And that's it. I'm going to try and have a nice cool day watching people sitting on the bridge waiting to go to the beach. In personal things, I just want to mention a couple of things here. I have a couple of birthdays. A few of my friends, Nikki Ryan down in Tampa, Florida. Nikki, happy birthday. You can be glad I'm not in town to give the obligatory spanking. You lucked out this year. However, if you're out there and anybody needs a spanking, I don't know. If you got enough money, I'll spank you. I think there's a few people out there who need a good spanking. I'll do it for free. Another news, it's Jeff Arthur, the Jingle Genius's birthday. I worked with Jeff Arthur for, 10 or 15 years on and off in different versions and iterations of the Jeff Arthur recording process. And hats off to you, Jeff. You've made it a long time. You're hearty and hale. I don't know if you're hairy and hale, but, you're looking good. You got a head full of hair, mostly. So happy birthday to the Jingle Genius. He wrote a bunch of songs that have made it into history, like Hey, Hey, Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl song, which, Jeff, you've been beating that horse for 30 years, man. I got to give you credit. There's the gift that gets, it just keeps on giving. Okay, so we have government target surging grocery store prices in the latest probe. I find that funny that 3 months before an election, the government's going to start a grocery probe about why we've been paying out the ass for groceries. Okay, we have another story here that shows how craven and stupid people are. Inside the dark and craven world of dog napping. Come on, people. It wasn't Madonna. It was the other one, Lady Gaga. Anyway, she had her dog napped, and they shot her dude who walks the dog, takes some sashaying around the neighborhood, and they shot the guy for a freaking French bulldog. Now, I like all animals, as long as the little fucker's got teeth, I'll probably play with it. But killing somebody for a dog. So There is a really crazy thing going on. Dog napping is on the rise. They go through this obligatory part about how we all know when you lose an animal, it just feels like shit. It's like the worst feeling in the world. And I just had that go through that recently, and it's awful. But they're telling us how miserable we all feel, which we know. Almost half of the thefts involve one person. So, and most of them, 3% use bikes, which I would hope they used bikes. I could tackle them and grab my dog. And in 37% of the cases, they hide them in a bag and haul ass. So there you go, people. Don't leave your dog unattended unless you've trained it to be a real killer. And we have our first comment of the day here, and I'm trying to touch the screen like an iPod. Feeling a little jerky. Good morning, Mr. Puig. Excuse me. How are you, Bill? You know they'll pay a ransom. I heard of a story where a guy, his wife was feeling like he didn't, give her enough attention. And so she went ahead and faked a kidnapping. And, things got bad. The kidnapper called and said, I've got your wife and the dog. And he said, well, I'll give you $100,000 for the dog. Keep the wife. That's a horrible story, man. People are just really awful out there. But, hey, we love our animals. Sometimes, I don't know, I've had a dog or two that I've liked more than somebody I was living with. I think we all have at some point. We have, let's see, U.S. and Russia have completed the biggest prisoner swap, and I'm going to bring on our cohorts shortly to talk about that. How Germany played a key role. I'm going to tell you this. Remember that history repeats. Stranger things have happened than the Germans cooperating on stuff. I can think of a couple of wars where they kind of thought it was good to collude. So don't trust anybody. Remember that. If you're going to think about world politics, remember we have interests, not friends. We tried to get Navalny out of Russia, it appears, but he died because they beat the shit out of him and put him in the, they call it the Seagull prison, which is, let me tell you, people think prison in America is bad. You ain't seen nothing, man. You get put in jail in Russia, you will die a vegetable. You'll be like a squid when they get done with you. You won't even be a vegetable. You'll be like a pulped squid. McDonald's worker lights massive fire because the drive-thru was so crowded. Now that's the kind of news we can laugh about, huh? You see this guy in the back, hear that buzzer go off one more time for these fucking fries. All of a sudden, the guy lights the buzzer up. The flames are going out the roof. What a nutball. Where do we find these people? I'm telling you. And they want $15 an hour for this joker. Eerie new mind-controlling tech can manipulate emotions. What can possibly go wrong with this? I think we should talk about this. In fact, I'm going to bring on the panel here. We've got today's morning. We've got Brenda B sitting there getting moosed and spruced. We got Irish. He's already moosed and spruced. He looks like he woke up this morning, had morning glory and fucking oatmeal for breakfast. So he's feeling good. I'm feeling good. Everybody's swinging. And here they are, the Down dancers. Hi, Brenda.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm telling you, I'm feeling just damn good. It's good to be alive.
A little hot, isn't it, buddy?
Ooh, man, I went out on my porch in my skivvies at like 3 o'clock this morning, and it was hot. It was like I opened the door and stuck my head out, and I was like, oh. I walked around for a minute.
God, it's official.
Looked at the sky and whatever. There was nothing going on. Everybody was properly asleep. And I'm out there sweating within like a minute. It's 2 in the morning.
You were going to say I'm hot. I thought you ruined my comeback. I thought you were going to say I'm hot.
Hot.
Yeah, we're all hot, aren't
like
we?
This.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the largest
so goddamn modest,
why
man.
people aren't
I'm
outside.
feeling Obama today. I'm just like king of the world, man. I got it going on.
You got it, dude.
Yeah. Even got my shirt on. This is like my Sunday shirt. I don't know why. I use it to officiate at weddings and funerals.
Hey,
I am an ordained minister, people. I can do non-denominational services.
Me
I can
too.
do it in Hebrew. I have many.
Me
if you want to get married or divorced, I'll come to your party and console you for a fee, of course. What do you think? Could I do marital counseling? Maybe we should do a show each week What do you
Maybe
think?
not the marital counseling. Why don't we just start doing divorce celebrations?
Well, that's fine. I'm all for that.
I think there's
Never
market
really
there.
had a proper one either time. Although some would say that the following 3 years was my party, I guess that might be kind of possible.
Hey, you know what? I think that we all go through that stage, but I don't think there was anything funny about my divorce. It cost me every bit of my savings for a lawyer.
Me too. It always does that. It just leaves you hollowed out. But remember, there's also something cathartic about when you're coming back.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
you get down, you
Yeah,
grind it
there's
out, you come back.
There is
You
that.
can just go like this to all people who doubt you. You can just go piss off, man. You know, what are
Well,
you
wait a
doing?
minute. I'm at Peter's house right now. What we're doing, we still, you know how most people have exchange with the kids and everything? We do it with the dog.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean,
Been there, tried to do
you know,
that. That
if you
didn't work
see
out.
somebody who won't take care of an animal like that, if you're married to somebody and they kick your dog or something, people, I don't care what you think about this person. If they're going to kick the dog or a cat or any other animal for that matter, if they'll hit the animal, they'll hit you. Trust me, people. People show their colors. Look for the tell. You know, we've all been in love with somebody that, you know, all our friends see is temperamentally unsuited to you. And like they're all going behind your back. What the fuck's wrong with him or her? And then, you know, like in my case, they were all my band were going, don't worry, he'll get over it. He's just, not, you know, he's got the lightning bolt. He's been kicked in the head by a young woman. And that happens to women and men. I've seen these women take up with some guy who's been in jail, for example. Not knocking your story, but think about it. You got some loser in jail who gets some fat chick from outside who's coming up every Sunday and putting money
here
in the
you go again
canteen.
with the body shaming. Dear God.
Oh God, I'm body shaming now.
No body shaming.
Okay, well, you know, listen, I'm nothing against. Look, I like everybody. I don't care. My point is, it's always some chick who's totally dysfunctional. She's got tattoos on her
There you
ass,
go.
and the weight's just a byproduct of her fucking total weirdness that she takes up with a convicted murderer and shows up every week.
She's got bad taste, but it doesn't have anything to do with her weight.
I don't
maybe,
know, man. I think
maybe
her brain cavity's shrinking because let me ask you this. Would
Social
you date a guy
psychology
who's in
involved in
jail
this
for
conversation could be freaking studied for a month.
Yeah, but Dean, wait, you do have a point there because a lot of times when I find myself upset, I do go for the food. So maybe we could say that.
I do too. I'm the most, listen, since I quit drinking, I'm the most emotional eater in the world. I'll tell anybody. It's how I'm having a hell of a time losing weight.
Me too.
But I'm losing it. You can see it in my face even. I'm down 7-8 pounds now. And
That's
ready,
because you're
man.
hot. That's
I'm going to
'cause you're
lose
hot,
20
buddy.
pounds. I'll be back to my high school weight. Bulking
Kudos.
up, man. Then I got to get on Irish's weight training regimen. His arms are as big as my scrawny little thighs.
What's on your sleeve? What's on your sleeve? Oh, look at that, Neil.
Yeah, he's got the sleeve. Give us an explanation. I see a bat.
All right, so the sleeve is my dragon. Mind you, I'm old and it's faded, but I've got my tigers up here. I ended up doing like all endangered species for my tattoo theme, and I was like, I wanted to do wolves, tigers, Siberian lynx, snow leopards, things like that. But the dragon is like from Lost Times, man. The druid Trinot and the Mother Nature here who has been lost. True story.
Cool. I'm glad that there's symbolism to it. I always, think that's a good thing. And even though I'm not tattooed, if I did it, it would be for something that really had to mean something enough to me to go through it. I admit it, I'm a wuss, man.
Me too.
I don't want to go get a tat, just sitting there grinding blood on me. But that doesn't mean it's not. I've just never had the life experience. So I'm kind of glad with my luck with women. I'd probably have Claudia, Zooman.
And they're all scratched out. Like, oops, do we need an eraser? Whoopsie.
No, I mean, it would just be I've had a lifetime of making bad relationship decisions, so I'm really careful.
Dude, at the time it sounded right?
Likes me.
Hey, Neil, you were talking before about this Russian swap.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of info for you. That it's really upsetting to me that it doesn't seem to me that it was a fair swap. The Allies exchanged 24 prisoners Thursday. and this was the largest exchange of detainees since the Cold War. Paul Whelan released a massive U.S. prisoner exchange, but the prisoners that were released was one of them was a U.S. journalist. He was arrested on espionage charges.
Bogus, we'll say too.
And he looks out from a defendant's cage before hearing to consider an appeal. Now get this: we don't put people in cages. Can you imagine if we had their people in cages?
Listen, we have a few.
We do have Guantanamo. I mean, that's true.
Some. Well, Guantanamo is mostly the Muslim terrorists. I don't know of any Russians down there. I know we had Victor Bout in the Supermax.
I think that
last time, total asshole.
They definitely need to start really kind of rethinking the international policies in which we're allowing ourselves to be drawn into.
Absolutely.
I think any American, like, listen, you go overseas at your own risk. You know,
remember what we traded Victor Bout? We traded Victor Bout for a trans woman based basketball player, excuse me.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she was in like one of the most horrible. I just watched the documentary on the prisons of Russia, and I'll tell you what, you know, nobody wants to go to any prison, but in particular Russia. The guys in America, Irish, and you know from the penal experience how awful that is. Over there, you can't even look at the guards. You have to walk like this.
That's the Black Dolphin. That's the face down.
The Black Dolphin. You know all about it.
Yeah, you stand up all day, and yeah, it's no joke.
The White Seagull place. I mean, it's horrible. People, when they talk about crime problems in America, but go ahead, Brenda. What else were you going to say? You got some other info. I can see it.
Oh, check this out. Paul Whelan, a former U.S. Marine, was accused of espionage and arrested in Russia in December 2018. He stands in a defendant's cage as he waits to hear his verdict in Moscow in 2020. That's 4 years ago. The former Marine has been held in Russia since 2018, and he was considered wrongfully detained by the U.S. government. He was served as a Marine in the reserve unit, deployed in Iraq in 2004, and after his retirement from the armed forces, he joined Kelly services. But when he traveled, here you go. Americans, you want to travel abroad, this is what could happen with you if you go to Russia. When he traveled across the globe and was in Russia for a friend's wedding, he was detained and accused of espionage.
Wow.
Now, and he later 16 years in prison and moved to a penal colony. He was the subject of several negotiation of years, but few got over prisoner swaps. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Whalen's a Michigan native. He's from Novi, which is not far from where I'm at. And the crazy thing is like you go back in all these things, is again going back to the policies that are created by people that are, you know, I don't even know if they should be making policies anymore considering the current state of affairs. But we gotta get our people back, you know, that don't deserve to be in jail. That's always should be a priority for any citizen. That, you know, we should have their back.
Absolutely. And hey,
on the flip side,
we got to take a quick break for some money moment, and we'll be right back. But think about that, folks. Do you think that it was a worthwhile swap? I know you have some more details to talk about that, and we'll be right back, folks. Here's some Carlton Wilkinson, and check him out. Buy some of his stuff. The address, carltonwilkinson.com, I believe it is on the spot. So check it out, peeps.
There's some changes headed, like the Gulf Stream rising, like some gale that's been blowing off this wild bird island shore. And I can't say where, and I don't know when, but some old door's been opened in the restless shade. Poor man sagging cigarette takes the subway alone. Rich man folding old regret steps on the run down below.
Oh my God, we're not done yet.
Like a melting flake of snow this year. I won't be sad to see it go.
Hi, I'm Darren F. Flynn, a singer-songwriter from Ireland, and I'm on Live with Neve.
I would have said it couldn't happen here. The people we
Hey there, it's Kevin Sorbo here, and you lucky people, you are live. You're live with Neve or Neve or Neve. I don't know. I can't say the dude's name. Anyway, you're on live with him, so I don't know. I guess that's a pretty good thing.
I'm Neil from Live with Neve. We have an exciting connection for our veterans, country music fans, and there is something for everyone. Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. That's right, we've partnered with Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. See you soon. Aha!
Hey, Neil, you've
Yeah.
got to talk to Gone Country Hats and tell them to get me one of those hats. I love them.
I will get you.
They're nice hats.
I'll
They do a
wear
good
them on
job,
my
there's no doubt.
show.
I will hook you up with a hat.
I want a hat. They're great. But getting back to what we were talking about previously, Neil,
Mhm.
and you guys, we were the exchange wasn't just for the U.S. It was for Germany too. Did you check out this Vladimir Krasilov? The Russian won it back. He was a Russian hitman, had been held in Germany following his conviction in the death of a former Chechen separatist commander in Berlin in 2019. Speculation has fueled for months that Putin wanted to secure his release in this prisoner swap involving Whalen, a guy that went to a wedding. Now, come on, is that fair, guys?
Well, you know, there's nothing that Putin does that is like in our idea of fair. His idea is so different from like an American politician's. He doesn't give a shit about a lot. I mean, he gives a shit about somebody coming and marching to Moscow and whacking him. That kind of stuff gets him, nervous. But if you have that kind of a mindset, everybody's expendable. I mean, think about it. He's killing tons of people just to fucking invade Ukraine because he wants to reconstitute the Soviet Empire. I mean, Russia, if you were to look at it, a lot of people don't realize this. Just say to you guys, you have a guess how many republics were made into the Soviet Union? Like how many different countries there were over the course of its history, say since the Middle Ages? It's amazing.
Pretty much everything with a stand on the end of it. You got Kyrgyzstan, you
got
got
literally 150
Czech Republic, Crimea and all that other stuff.
They put together and expanded to. Russia was expansionist under the Tsar. I mean, all these things that went on, the Russians they're bastards, man, if they want to be. They're very expansionist, and they've also had such a crazy, tragic life. I know this. We can get along with the Russians. We've done it before. We've worked together to fight the Nazis. So to me, the whole idea of us going to war with them, the Russians I've met, or the majority of them, are good people. They've got shit government, but that happens everywhere. And
isn't that the tale of all?
Control. See, it shows the difference. Think about it this way. Look how much we gave away to get our two people back.
No.
I mean, we gave away these really bad animals to get a couple of innocent bastards.
Journalists, school teachers.
I mean, these people are like father rapers. There's nothing good about them.
Yeah.
But again, remember, it's the government thing, and Putin's not a representative of the average Russian. But the things are, Russia doesn't have the cultural issues we have, except with the Muslim problems. And I say that not to bash on Muslims, but they don't get along well. And the Russians don't get along with them. there's no mutual respect. It's like we always say, there's we have interests. We don't really have friends, no matter how people think about our friends. Of course, the British are our friends, but remember, friends can invade you 100 years later, people. So,
Oh yeah.
Well, Neil, I want to talk about this. The Russians released. We had one guy that was foreign intelligence. This is art that we released that we got back. Norway espionage, another one military intelligence, another one credit cards, right, dude? Another one on charges of smuggling American technology and equipment to Russia's military. Now, the Germans got their release was a bunch of different guys. Again, nobody really seriously that was a killer or anything, but we still have Americans there. I mean, and the ludicrousy of this whole thing is we have school teachers there. We have, I could, like, Neil, if you want me to go into it, I can, but we still have Americans there that have not been released that in my mind are harmless.
well, I think
they very well may be, but the kind of the shitty part about this too is that it's political times. Like, so let's get high profile people out because that makes us look better. Blah blah blah.
right. Some guy who's janitor at the embassy who went out on a date with, say, a honey trap, some hot Russian chick who picked up Snurdly, who's never seen a woman, and the guy ends up caught in this trap, and he's so stupid. They put him in they probably sent him up there to one of those horrible prisons to walk around stooped over and put in a cell 40 hours a week.
Hey, Neil, to that point, you must be talking about Sergeant Gordon Black. He was returned in May for visiting his girlfriend, and he was sentenced to 4 years in prison in charges of stealing money from his girlfriend and making threats towards her. Can you imagine
making threats towards her?
Fight
Oh my
with
God!
your boyfriend and ended up in actually an Army Staff Sergeant in jail and returned to Russia in May to visit his girlfriend, and then boom, in jail.
Actually, it's a great point. If you think about it, there's almost a public service announcement you can make on that premises and just simply say, hey, look, when you go to other countries, make sure you know the laws in which, because you're not in America. You are not in America, and the laws that, we think we have some ridiculous ass laws. You go to some of those other spots, you better make sure you know your surroundings. And I think that should be something everybody that's going to travel abroad should think long and hard about, especially considering the times.
You think about some of the people who've done some really dumb things. I don't know if you guys remember back in the 90s, there was this kid who was living over in Singapore, and he's basically just a little 15-year-old little shithead. He was smoking weed. He was running amok in the neighborhood. I did plenty of shit like that, but I'll tell you what, I didn't do it in Singapore.
Yeah, how'd that work out for him?
They caught him, and his punishment was to be hit 120 times, 120 lashings.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, they use a fucking bamboo kendo sword.
Yeah.
And they lay into you. When you get out of there, you're not walking home, man.
No, you're going to the hospital, and you're probably going to go into shock and everything else.
You'll have pissed yourself. You'll be in bad, foul shape. And
yep.
I'll tell you this, though. Little asshole won't do it again, will he?
I tell you what, I don't know. That's a bad one there. They might have knocked what sense was in him out.
I'll tell you this: his family were like, they lawyered up big time. They hired a bunch of lawyers over there who were like, there's a whole scrum of them, like a whole fucking rugby team heading into the courtroom. This big American kid, 14 years old, and these guys are up to his elbows, and they're wandering in. And I was thinking, and let me tell you, even with the scrum of lawyers, court went, no, I don't think so. We're going to cut it maybe to 50. I think they gave him 50 lashes instead, but they cut it significantly. But it's still, the little shitheel should have known. You're going one of the most, they'll kill you for thieving. They don't play. If you have any drugs on you, you get killed.
Yeah.
I would go over there and do a weed fast, man. I'd be like straight as they could probably take.
Didn't we just tell him to watch the laws? Didn't we just say that to him and off he goes?
Hey, they might drag you off the street, take your blood.
That's okay. We'll bail you out, brother.
Weed in your system, and they might put a whipping on you with a fucking kendo sword. Does not sound like a fun vacation.
Hey, don't forget.
God damn it. Ow! Stop it!
Yeah. Oh, don't stop. Don't stop. No, don't stop. I know where that's going.
You turn around and go, oh, that was good. Give it a little
Freaking
more.
freaky ass Neil. My goodness.
Hey guys, we're getting to deep water here. Let's
We
talk,
do. We
let's
do.
talk about Fleetwood. Let's talk about Fleetwood Mac releasing their new album. Can you imagine that these guys have been around so long? Since I remember 1975 when they released Reprise. I mean, it's I about music. We got a couple guys on today, don't we, Neil? But
always, yeah.
A lot of our guys that we grew up with. Now I don't know about your guest. Is he our age or is he a youngster? But
he's a little younger than we are, young whippersnapper.
Our guys are still out there. They're still out there touring. They're still out. It's just amazing.
So is Fleetwood Mac making a whole new record again? Like I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, they're doing a build up on it. They're trying to, they're doing that last hoorah that we're seeing a lot of generational bands that are kind of, past the point of performances and stuff like that. I mean, not everybody's the Rolling Stones somehow or another. Those guys, I just think
they seem to Stevie Nicks tour. Excuse me, Stevie Nicks tour just like blew out records, man. They made a pile of money.
Yeah.
She had Waddy as a band leader as always, and they kicked ass everywhere they went. I saw them and went, wow. I didn't see them live. One of our friends in LA took video of the show and we ran it. But they were just spot on, and we saw video from several shows on the tour. It was good. Stevie, I don't know what she does, but her voice had gotten pretty rough for a while.
Yeah,
back in the 90s because she was overusing it and getting beat to death. But she did. She got, when she came back, like the last tour, I was used to just saying, well, she sounds pretty good, for an old broad. And I say that because I'm an old guy. Listen, I know, there we go with the sexist statements, right? That's why the FCC will not, they don't like me. I just don't understand. I called their they didn't like that.
Speaking of freaking that, man,
the leader of the
I
FCC,
think she had that surgery, Neil.
Like a fat turd. I'm sorry, I'm not fat shaming here. I just don't like the guy, and it's a way to gap at him.
It's all right.
Pick them when they're down. I always say. You
got me here for this, right?
I brought you here just to be you'd be like that conscious for an hour.
Parental control, yeah. Yep, he needs it. He needs it.
All the hosts I know have asked for a button that they could shock me when I'm doing something offensive. And I said,
if that was the case, we'd run out of power. Right? The power grid would go down if we had to stop you every time you said something.
I know. Well, all of us, because I shot back.
Hey Neil, there was another.
You have to have like one overall. You have to have that button that gets everybody.
Dude, you're all right. We're talking about another female artist this morning.
No, it was a guy.
No, but didn't you want to talk about
Spears? You wanted to talk about Britney.
But Britney's just, I'm making fun of the whole Britney just being so out there and nobody helps her. Like she's in there in her house. She gets food brought in by Uber Eats in a big cocaine lab or whatever she does. I mean, you look at her and there's something, the eyes are on, but nobody's home. She looks like the chick, the crazy ex-girlfriend meme that was out.
Well, I mean, dude, think about that though. Think about what that, like, her entire existence, right, has been this giant spotlight.
Yeah.
Of no privacy, no movement, like.
And that's up in this big marble house.
That's got to be a lot to take on. I mean, I know you got a lot of money and stuff like that. That's great. You do performances. That's awesome too. But man, you want to talk about having to have some, pretty tough skin.
I think we got to ring her up and see if we can get her on the show. Let's go out to Britney's house and do a show.
Hey, listen, I like her. I mean, I
like her too. Listen, I think she's been horribly abused. I like her too.
I think she's talented too.
She's absolutely talented. She has work ethic that's incredible when it's focused, and she's not all, The problem with rock stars is they get too many people around them telling them every idea you've got is great. And when you're young and you've had millions thrown at you for doing what you've always done, all Britney can do is, do her little dance in front of the camera. And
then a young person like that with that much money that probably doesn't have a real friend in the world because everybody
everybody who's a friend's scamming for money.
That's rough, man.
We could have her on the show, man. We'd help her out. We get her all hooked up with some people who fuck her over, and
Yeah.
I'm serious. No, you get somebody good like what's his face, Rick Rubin, to produce a record, make her Do something good. And remember, I've said this about Madonna too, and I will go down saying it because I've been right every time. Every record she's made in the past 10 years has been a piece of shit. And that's why her touring numbers go down. And unless she plays all the hit songs she wrote, nobody's going to go see her to hear her new stuff. It's just not good. Instead of doing what she used to do, which is make a brilliant album like nobody's ever made or heard, she's been banging out the same shit that she's got 20 other women who are competing with her. Same schlocky fucking dance stuff. It's like, I get it. It's all the same thing, though. Madonna invented it. She should be reinventing herself by she has it. She acts like she doesn't have it, and she's trying too hard, and it's bullshit. It's because the work's not up there. If she got Rick Rubin to produce an album with 14 tracks that just kick the shit out of everybody,
it would be interesting. It would be an interesting
songwriting team. Sure. 8 people. You don't do that. You get 1 or 2 really good fucking people to write with, and you get in there and you don't do this. Why do you think like J-Lo's albums all sound like? Sorry, J-Lo, I know you make more money than me and you could crush my head with your thighs. But that said, I don't know. Your records, you'd have to crush my head with your thighs for me to listen to more than 4 hours. Come on. I mean, seriously.
Sorry, I need parental control too sometimes.
Hold on.
Hey guys, what do you think about the difference in music today? I mean, Neil and I, where were we talking about? What was it like? They have funk, all kinds of different genres right now. They're playing. I'm actually this new stuff. What do you think of it?
Me personally, honestly, I think any music, no matter the genre, the type, or whatever, it has to be. It's kind of like music is like one of the biggest capitalist ventures ever that nobody pays attention to, because if the song and the music are not like good, you're just not going to get anywhere with it, no matter the story or the situation. Every genre that I'm seeing now, I'm seeing all kinds of different music come out from guys like Ben Howard. You just have some really cool stuff coming out that's creative and different. I mean, we all do the same 12 notes back and forth. So how do you reinvent that? And you have to kind of test and toy with it to see what can evolve from it. I mean, we have some pretty big shoes to fill, man.
Hey guys, I need you to hold that thought. We got to take a quick break and we'll be right back. We're running a little past the hour. So we're at 10:37 people. And if you got them, smoke them if you got them. And here's some people yakking about the show. And we'll be back in a moment. Live with Neve.
Hi, I'm trumpeter Greg Adams, and I'm live with Neve.
This Irish fool, here he is. There he is.
Melting flake of snow this year. I won't be sad to see it go.
Hi, I'm Darren F. Flynn, a singer-songwriter from Ireland, and I'm on Live with Neve.
I would have said it couldn't happen here. The people we
Hey, Gina, what's happening, girl?
Is that Gina?
Gina, tell us a little bit about the show last night,
What's
love.
going on, gorgeous?
Yeah, man. Tell us about the show last night. I borrowed some of your footage, and it was really good. She saw Willie Nelson in Los Angeles, people, if you're wondering what I'm talking to Gina about. The beautiful and talented Gina Adams in Los Angeles, California. She's a great friend of the show and always out. She has great musical taste, and I thank her for all
those guys out there do Toby and all of them. They're awesome.
We're just lucky we got our LA posse. Hey, Susan.
Hey, speaking of, on the topic that we're on, I got some news. I got some good news for you guys.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it, man.
So, a guy named George Neal, man, he's the bass player to Halloween. Huge local Michigan band. I mean, they pack stadiums. They're awesome, amazing musicians. And this guy, right up the road from me here, he opened up a thing called the Richmond Rock Room. And what it is, man, is it's musicians for musicians, right? The idea of the pay to play for local bands and stuff like that to get on stage. And he's like, we got to pay the musicians. We got to keep them going. And he's opening up a youth program for these guys. And he brought in some really cool acts. And I watched these kids get excited for music. And it's really cool because today I got music with a young guy that's on up and coming, man. and I'm going to try to get him placed in a band somewhere while he can do some performing and, you know, hone his craft. I mean, this kid plays the alto sax, the bass, guitar, and he's good.
Wow.
And guys like
Phenomenal,
that
multi-talent.
is what
That's
George
great.
is really striving for with the Richmond Rock Room. And so I urge everybody to check that out. It is a very cool program that he's trying to get up and running.
Well,
Hey,
that's cool.
let me ask you something to that point. I mean, right? I've been promoting now for years, and I've had my own show and the whole bit. I just had a guy named Vito Galati that is a musician, and he's a percussionist, and he has a different type of thing going, which I'll show you guys later on. But what do you think? Instead of hooking these musicians like up with other bands, why not them create their own gig? Now, I've talked to several artists that have asked me to promote them, and I've turned them down. I said, look, guy, you get me a great singer, you get me a great guitarist, you get me a great drummer, you put the whole thing together with all the greats, and then we can take your artistry, your talent, and post it. Why are you putting him with another band that's already established? Why not you let this shine?
You got it. If you really want a good band, I agree with you. I think that, you know, and that's what I'm currently doing too, is I've been jumping in and out of cover bands and things like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'd like to create something with people from the ground up, so that, you know, there is a gel that happens. If somebody just comes into somebody else's music, maybe that gel doesn't happen. I think Neil can probably express more on that point.
Well, I can tell you from a promotion standpoint, like Vito, he wants to go out like at $5,000 for a gig. I said, hold it, dude. It's not happening. Wait till we get you established. Wait till we get you together. And the same way with my other friend, Matt, totally awesome guitarist. He's playing with other gigs and he's like really happy about it. But I'm like, Matt, start your own thing. You know, if you got that talent, like, let it shine. Like, Neil, were we talking about drummer solos the other day? I mean, well, I think that each person should bring out their own talent in the group. What do you guys think about that?
You know, bands are sort of, there's so many ways to do it. And depending on where you're at in your career, there's a lot of reasons why people do different things. And what I mean by that is, first off, to put a band together from the ground up.
I did it.
I've done it a bunch of times. It can be done. You got to have the money and the time, and you got to have the right people who are teachable. And that's the
key, the right people.
And you have to have people who can understand that if there is a leader, and there is a leader in every band, whether they acknowledge him or her, what happens is bands have people, they're groups of people. And my experience has shown me that if you have a democracy in a band, it's going to go to shit. You'll have the drummer and the bass player arguing over the mix in the fucking studio. And they'll be arguing over who's louder. And the producer will be going,
well, here's a question I have.
Go outside and play pool. Go outside and play pool. Or you'll have situations where you're in the studio and the drummer and bass player decide to come in and glare at the singer to fucking make him skip and forget his words even more than he is already naturally. So you have to throw them out. My point being, if you have one strong leader in the band, and I've learned this myself, that's why if I'm in a band, I don't care. If we have a great leader, I get the fuck out of the way, man, because he's making my life easy. I don't have to think about nothing. I show up, my sticks are sitting there.
Just do your part, yeah.
Towel. I got $100 in fucking mad money sitting there waiting, a nice tip from the boss. But my point is, I don't have to think about all the things and be responsible for anything but 2 hours of the evening playing every fucking song to perfection. That's pretty easy. Well, running a band.
Here's a good question I got for both of you guys, seriously. So when you're talking about the right people, I think anybody would agree with me that's a musician, and anybody that's multi-talented especially, you know, you have to put the work in. It's a trade, you know, and Cypress Hill said it right, man. You know, it's a fun job, but it's still a job, you know, and if you're not willing to put the work in with the people that are, you know, wasting, you know, their time away from wherever, because it does turn into a bit of a family in a sense when you get a good band, man.
The amount of work I think it takes to do it right, you have to really know the people.
Yeah, I mean, basic principle, man. You work hard, you get what you put in, and it's hard to find those guys because I think a lot of times they forget, dude, this is a trade. We got to work at it. Are you good? Are you talented? Yeah, but can you gel with a band? And that's the
I've had
thing.
people give me 10 grand to make a song for them for one song. And I hired the best people you could possibly find down in Tampa on this particular project. And I have to tell you, you have to have a leader, because in that project, the singer tried to lead. And this is 30 years ago. I learned this in my studio. Just another, you learn by getting beat up. You don't learn by whipping ass all the time. You know, you learn when you
Just like
screw
any
up.
other trade, man, you got to take your licks.
But let me tell you, I called up the
something?
promoter.
Can I say something when you're done?
Yeah,
Can I?
absolutely.
You know what, Neil? You hit it on the head. It has to be a cohesive unit of talent. Like
Right.
I've got this friend that he's Donnie Rocket, and he plays with a band called Flying Circus, and it's like Led Zeppelin type music. Those guys in those band are like brothers. They
Right.
get together. They've been together for years. And I think that is the secret of their success. It's that cohesiveness together with great talent. And you know, that's it.
That
You're
happens. Right. And you know, there's a natural selection. And I'll put it this way: I've gotten better the longer I've been playing music and been in bands and had to put them together. Natural selection occurs when a band outgrows a member. And that, what I mean by that is, sometimes you'll have a member, you love them to death.
That actually sucks. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And they're like, they're dragging you back. And like, I've said it to bands, and I always did it quietly. Like sometimes I'd have a band and their bass player would be like sucking, and they were all getting exasperated. And so I would take out whoever I assume and can tell is the leader by Darwinian standards. I'm like, that motherfucker's the leader. They don't know it, but he is.
Yeah.
I'd take him outside and I'd say, listen, rather than make your bass player feel any worse, I'm going to go in and take the producer's chair here and tell you, you guys are all going home. You're going to go and you're going to work on the song a little more, but we're going to come back tomorrow and then we'll work at it. We're not going to sit here and pound this out.
Yeah.
Then I'd tell them, let's move on to another song. We'd move on to the next song. The drummer or whoever's failing would not be aware that we had a conversation about them.
Yeah.
We'd move on, and the next day I'd say to that guy, well, look, we got 14 more songs to go, and I've got a bass player coming in this week to do 4 other songs for 4 of my other clients. All songwriters, didn't have bands. Guy was like, well, how much is it going to cost? I said, it'll cost you less to hire him in the hour of time than it will to fucking hire me, the studio, and him, and our aggravation factor. I'll bring a guy in, he'll hear the song once, he'll play it twice, and we'll move on to the next tune. Because that's really what you have to have, and why I called my studio the sausage factory. Even everything I do in life, it's just making sausage, man. You don't want to know what goes into it. When you hear a record, you don't like when you butt into sausage people. You do not want.
Okay, before we get off on sausage party.
Only you, Neil. Only you. Absolutely, dude.
And my friend Jay,
I got a question for you guys.
Made a logo. Hold on, that had my face. Because I only use the sausage factory. It's like fucked up. It looks very much like me. You got a good likeness. It looks like an Andy Warhol of me saying
that.
God.
It's Andy Warhol, really?
Yeah. Have you seen it, I think?
I think I have.
He did a good job on it.
I'm trying to scrub it from my memory.
I was like, now that looks good. I cracked up. I said, it actually looks like me, you fuck nut.
How can we be serious? How can we possibly be serious with this stuff? I mean, come on.
I have a serious question.
You break me up, Neil.
I think you guys will enjoy this one because I want to see where you guys take off. Producer, musician of many, many years. So we're talking about getting people together and functioning as a functional, cohesive unit. And isn't it true to say that most musicians, especially ones that write like these heart-pounding, gut-wrenching songs that we all listen to all the time to express different things, dude, if you're a hot mess going into a structured environment, it's never easy, I'm assuming, correct?
No,
yeah, absolutely. Hey, I can tell you, if you have a singer that can't get along with her musicians, you got nothing.
Yeah.
Because she'll mess. It's got to be that cohesion. It's got to have the bass player with the drummer, and the singer's got to pull in. It's got to be
what
one.
happens. That's a case of the producer losing his handle on the whole thing. People don't understand what producers do, but it's a lot of different things. One of the things they do is keep that shit from happening, where the band's hating on the singer, because like everybody's got a job to do. And my point is, like a singer who's a real prima donna, like I think I may know who you're talking about. We won't say any names here.
Yeah, you got me.
But,
you know what I'm talking
my point being, though, difficult people are a fact of life, and you have to really learn a formula for dealing with them. I've gotten good at it. But I'll tell you what, I've had people like that who are real divas, and I've had to take them in the back room and have a private talk with them and tell them. And I learned this. We were talking earlier, and I'm going to just segue back because this directly ties in. If you let a situation get out of control, here's the scenario. I'm being paid to record a song for a guy for 10 grand. He's a very rich guy, owns fucking cars. He's a great client of mine. I'd sell him all kinds of TVs, and this is like 30 years ago. Whenever he'd call me, I'd be like, "What do you want, Mickey?" Hello, Nell. So I called him when I was having problems managing the singer because the guy was a complete nutball. And I will just tell you this: he was a white Michael Jackson back in the 90s. Show me these pictures. I'm trying to record this guy, and he'd really annoy me because I'd be sitting there trying to take pictures of like everything we'd recorded. We need to go outside and talk to yourself. Why don't you? I'm making notes, and he goes, "Neil, I want to show you my pony."
Get your buzzer ready.
And
get it ready down there. Get it.
I'm like, going, "What do you mean a pony?" And then he's got this picture of him and this horse. He's like, looks like Fabio. He's got his hair in the wind. And this guy, he said to me that he was, what the hell did he call himself? A sexual.
Oh, no.
Now, this guy's been down on Friday night more than fucking Madonna and fucking her in the 80s, okay? This dude is as flamboyantly gay as anybody I've ever met. He makes Liberace look like a stud, right? He's just, you have to be around the guy. Well, what happens is I called my client who's paying all this money, and you know what he said to me? He goes,
"What?
No." I called him up, and here's how it goes. "Mickey, I don't know what to do with this fucking guy. He's out of his mind, man. He's in here showing me. I can't even get him to fucking sit down and record the song through one time perfectly because he's fucking flighty and he's fucked in the head." And he goes, "No? Do you think I paid you fairly?" I said, "Yes, you did, sir. What can I, He goes, "Well, I don't care what you do. Fucking handle it like a big
done. Get it done, Neil.
I have to, but fucking get it done." I went, "Okay." So I went in. This was so bad. I go in and I just fucking unload on Morales. He pissed me off. He was complaining about the musicians. The sessions that were going great had stalled, and I lost control. So I sent everybody home, and I said, "Morales, we're going to sit down and have a cock here, okay? First off, I know that this guy in LA who did Star Wars, famous composer, told him at one time in Los Angeles that the only way they can record me is with a human U-87. And do you have one of those?" And I went, "No, I don't have one of those. And you know what? I don't really give a fuck what George, whatever his name is, told you. I'm getting paid to record you now." And we've got an impasse here because you got to understand I'm being paid to get results and you're not giving them to me. So here's the deal. You don't realize how lucky you are. There's 20 fucking singers in LA I can go pick up and give the same deal to that you're getting. You're living in a fucking apartment in Clearwater. You got that van out front. How about this? I'm going to call a cab. You leave the truck here. You get in the cab. You go back to your fucking house. You pack your shit and you get on a plane to fucking LA. Because that's what Mickey told me. You either fucking produce, and he starts fucking crying.
Well, you know what?
Jerk.
Can I say something?
Cry.
Can I say something, Neil? You pointed out something. There are a million great singers out there. Millions.
Yes, millions.
I mean, I replaced 2 weeks before a gig. I might have told you I replaced the singer. I replaced the guitarist because they weren't in tune with us. They wanted to do their own thing. But
right.
But the difference I think between singers and real artists, you can be a singer and you can sing. Like I'm not a great singer. I lost my voice during COVID.
Me neither, but I always get work and I can do it. I just don't go out and present myself as a lead vocalist, but I can sing 100 songs and get a whole night done.
My favorite line is "I get paid," but
that's it. Well,
but here's the thing.
Remember,
there's a lot of singers that don't realize that they're replaceable.
Everybody in this life, we're all replaceable at any time, and no matter how good you are, you can be great. By the way, Bill mentioned to you he knows Donnie.
Donnie's great. Donnie's great. Love him. Love them.
Yeah.
And love the Flying Circus. My biggest mistake was when I interviewed them on my show, I didn't I was promoting Donnie instead of the whole group. After I got to know the group, every single one of them I would take on in a minute at my show. But anyway, back to what you're saying. Did you have a comment? Will you help me? What is your guest artist name again? I forget.
Irish.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh,
What is?
Wait, I'm sorry.
who do we got coming on today, Neil?
Oh, we have our artist is Brian Pizzone from Los Angeles. Amazingly, just one of the best pianists in the world. And I don't say this shit really. Hey, Toby, how are you, girl? All right, Toby's in the house.
Hey,
The
baby.
girl from Wilshire Boulevard
Good morning.
has arrived. All right. Glad to see you, Toby. It's good to hear from you. I've been missing you for a while. And I know you're going through some shit like we all do occasionally. But we're glad you're here.
We all.
And,
It's like COVID done freaking shook the crazy out of the world. We're all dealing with it on a regular daily basis.
So today, for those of us who are wondering, in your case, Brian Pizzone is a modern day Beethoven, and that may sound like I'm sucking up to him, but I'm not. He's a very fucking cerebral and one of the best keyboard players, I said it, in the world, period. The guy is a deep thinker. He's completely opposite for me. Brian's a real quiet guy. He's got a brilliant mind about a lot of different things, not just playing piano. And he's got a wicked sense of humor. You wouldn't think that him and I would get along because I'm just such a spaz and he's a real quiet type. And I probably just like, oh my God. It's like when we had Andreas from Norway. His poor drummer's a real quiet guy. And of course, I picked on him a little bit in a fun way. And I said, so what do you think of Americans? I'm pretty loud, aren't I? The guy was backing up, man. We had a great time, but it's the same thing. People who are great like wherever they go and no matter how you do it. And they just make it work. They make it easy, in fact. Any rate, Toby, thanks for all the good times over the years. And when I went out to California, we went and saw the immediate family, and we went to the premiere of their movie. And Gina and Toby and I and Brian and a bunch of us were getting together here and all, but really a good time. And I'm overdue for an LA fix right now. So
I know you got to swing by Detroit and pick me up. We going.
Well, this year, if they hold NAMM, I heard some rumblings. I haven't heard any more about it, but I certainly hope to be out there in January or sooner. You never know. There's just so much good stuff that goes on out there in the Valley, that, music wise, it's different than New York. The New York scene's really, it's a weird thing. It's compared to LA. LA is a lot more inviting. There's a lot more things to do, but you got to drive, and that's the big.
Yeah, we ready to do final words. We got 3 minutes.
Yep, and run on in. Well, so Toby, anything good going on in your world? What's happening this weekend musically in LA? What have you got cooked up? And Gina, how about you? Are you going out on the side, or
tell us it
Bob
all.
Dylan enough for you? Tell us about Bob Dylan before we break. We're gonna be out of here. It's almost 10 o'clock. Wow.
Yep.
Left. That just flew
One
by.
thing, the Chameleon Project, baby, get ready. It's coming down. It's gonna be a cool thing. I'll tell you more about it. Don't forget the Richmond Rock Room, man. Look up these people. If you can donate, do it.
The
This kid
Richmond
group is
Rock
gonna.
Room.
The Richmond Rock Room. George Neal, man, putting it together for the kids, dude. We got to get behind it.
And don't forget to put your water out there for the pets. It's kind of hot out there. Remember, hydrate.
Yeah, and for all my friends in Florida, man, hunker down, guys. It's really a bummer what's going on. They've got another tropical wave of destruction and crap.
Everybody be safe,
it's
man.
going to drag its way across Cuba and every other hellhole down there, and people are going to die, and we'll have another 1 million people down in Miami, which will add to the multicultural fun fest that already is. Nothing like, doing a death run through the streets of Miami being chased by an angry Cuban or 3 or 4.
You got to get the buzzer out. The buzzer. We need this.
Absolutely. I've always found things. Let's just. Oh man, you had Mellencamp too. Holy shit!
Hell yeah!
Mellencamp's
a hell of a performer in his own right, man. That guy's beast too.
That's a great bill. Holy crap!
Awesome.
Hell yeah!
Did you get any footage, Gina, of Mellencamp or Dylan? In fact, I'll ask you, how was Bob? I've heard he's really not cadaverous this tour. I heard he's really animated and doing a great job. He's such a mysterious cat. He really is. Bob Dylan still is an enigma to me. I've read all the books about him, and I think he's having a hell of a good time. That's all I can say. Of all the rock stars out there, Bob is always doing it his own way. He puts bands together, he drops them, he puts another great band together. He's got a great life, and man,
Love music, love each other, man. That's all we got left.
Everybody, really
Yeah.
have a great time.
For real.
And everybody, we'll see you at 4:00 for Brian Pizzone. You don't want to miss this guy. Oh yeah, Willie is always great. Just before we go, my Willie Nelson story. A girlfriend in high school, senior year, says to me, I've been taking her to concerts, took her to see Bob Dylan, took her to see some stuff. She says, hey, you want to go see Willie Nelson? Now, I just moved down there from New York. Last thing I want to do is go see Willie Nelson. Didn't have any fucking clue. Went out. She says, I'll treat. So she buys the tickets. I'm like, wow, this is going well. And we drive up to the concert. And in my head, I'm going, oh, God, I got to suffer through Willie fucking Nelson. Leon was on the bill playing keyboards and opening up for him. So I get in there and they open up with Leon Russell, plays a whole 2-hour show, just tears it up. And then he doesn't leave. Out comes Willie Nelson and his whole band, that crazy drummer he had back.
That's awesome when that happens. I love when that happens.
It was his manager.
Willie I saw that happen with a mix-up. It was just seeing those guys all come together is great.
His name was Carl something. I think Carl Black or something like that. But the guy, Willie said, oh, well, over the years, I reckon he stole a couple of million from me, but he didn't mean nothing. He just broke and he had problems. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had all the tax problems and shit. But he didn't care. Willie, he understood.
Willie thought they said Texas. He didn't know they said taxes. It was a mistake.
Exactly, man. It was a mistake. That's pretty much what
came out of the smokehouse. He made a mistake.
Yeah, he was out there. He was
Willie. We love Willie
the whole time. And the guy was I read about his life, man. This guy, I thought I had a crazy life. Dude, this guy has got it.
I know him.
You know him?
Right. Yeah. It kind of pays to be a promoter once in a while.
All right.
We were back. I met him in AC. Great guy.
No shit. That's cool. That's really
Unfortunately, nobody got my picture with him. I was, you can't say, hey, can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph? You guys got to just go with the moment.
It's always yours, though. It's always yours.
I did sound one for Prince of the Tubes and Jefferson Starship without Grace.
Oh.
They had Kantner's girlfriend or some chick he picked up who did sing really well. She's like 25, and he was up there really grumpy the whole show, smoking cigarettes like a fiend. Like he had a cigarette the whole time. And he had a new guy who was a Full Sail grad where I went to school who hadn't yet got his bones on the road. And he came up to me 2 hours late, throws a stage plot at me and starts yelling at the band who had to play an extra set. So I kind of told him, wrong answer, buddy. You take your little sheet and stick it up your tailpipe. I said, right now you can go up and help unload the band on stage. I'll have the monitor mix set up. Give me that. And when you come back, I can try and get along better. He scurried off. I just told him to go get to busy. They were 2 hours late, which I don't care. He's 72. Look at this. Wow. Got 10 years on me. Made a lot more money too, boy. That's amazing that he's out there doing it. I got to say, it's great. Look, we're all going to die someday, but it doesn't mean we have to die today or we have to be miserable along the way. I mean, shit. So, Irish, where'd you go, man? He's leaving. All right, listen. We're out of here, people. I see your private chat now. Sorry, I was ignoring it, looking at the fans here. All right, guys. We'll see you tonight, 4:00, 1:00 Los Angeles time, and we're out of here. So, see you soon.
All right, bye, everybody. Irish, it was nice meeting you. You're great.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, live with Neve.